Hello and welcome to Parents' Evening live from RAF Cranwell. Coming up in our first session, preparing for the RAF.
Emily, if I start with you, if you just give us a bit of a background of how you started in the RAF and what your journey's been so far.
I initially tried to join up at the age of 17, but circumstances meant that I couldn't. So I flipped and flopped between some different areas of work, so sales, customer service, retail, logistics. Nothing seemed to fit. And one day I just decided that, I'll try again, just give it another go and see what happens. And 5 years later.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Amazing. What about you, Danielle?
So basically, I spent the last 5 years chopping and changing between jobs too. I just wanted to wait till I was more mature and personally ready to join the RAF. My dad's in the RAF, so I've grown up around the lifestyle, so I was used to it. So I was just prepared, and I finally applied.
So I suppose actually two very different kind of perspectives and ways in. If I come back to you, Emily, because one of the main things I suppose people are worried about is where do you start with your preparation? I suppose one of the first things that comes is fitness and the test that you've got to go through. What is that like to prepare for?
Well, the fitness test isn't usually until about halfway through your application. So you usually submit your interest through the careers website, and then you're invited for an interview. It's pretty relaxed, just kind of gauge your interest. You'll sit a simple aptitude test, and then, like I say, halfway through your application, you'll sit a fitness test, which is just a 1.5 mile run within a certain time limit. Some push-ups and some sit-ups, and that's really about it.
And the bleep test?
No, not until you're actually fully in the service and in basic training. Yeah. But depending on which routes you take for your application depends on how soon you do a bleep test.
Okay, I can breathe a sigh of relief for the time being then.
But you mentioned as well at the start your background and how actually, unlike Danielle, you didn't have any sort of connections to the RAF initially, and you did lots of different jobs. Talk to us about that and how you found your way from there into looking into the RAF.
It was very, very strange, to be fair. It was something that I did have an interest in. While no one directly is in the RAF, I do have some family that have got military connections. I just couldn't find anything within, in outside work that interested me. Sales and customer service and retail, it was just nothing seemed to fit, and I felt like I wanted to progress any further.
Well, fantastic. So, Daniela, actually, you were saying beforehand as well when we were chatting that you came into the RAF. Obviously, you mentioned your dad was part of it. You also joined during the COVID era as well.
Yeah, I did.
So that must have been a really difficult or just a completely different experience?
I wouldn't exactly say difficult, I would say a bit bizarre and strange. The whole process was different. It was longer because it took longer to get your medical through and be booked to do your fitness test, because obviously it's COVID time, gyms weren't open. Once we're in the RAF, it was a bit different as well because it was the socially distanced side of it, and parents couldn't come watch me graduate. It was a very unique and different experience to what most have had.
Amazing. And so, looking back then, what advice would you give? Because we're sort of past the COVID era now, really, in terms of how strict the rules are. What advice, first of all, would you give somebody in that initial state of preparation, knowing what you've gone through has been slightly different?
For me, personally, it would be find any way to improve your fitness, because it is a big one when you first join up. Most of basic training is orientated about getting yourself ready to standard in RAF and improving your fitness standards to get you overall healthy and at a good level. So just going out on runs and more walks, especially during COVID, because it was more difficult. Everyone was secluded. You couldn't go to gyms, but even taking dog for a walk more regularly or just doing a little run to the shops would help.
And would you agree with that kind of stuff?
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. I joined pre-COVID, so it was, regular runs. I did runs about 3 times a week, a couple of practices of the fitness test, maybe twice a week of the bleep test, just so I could get familiar with it. And I don't know if you would agree, but definitely practicing the fitness test and the bleep test is definitely a must for practicing the turns, and it helps you prevent injury.
Now you are both air specialists, obviously, in different fields as well. If we could expand a bit about what you're actually doing day to day at the moment. And suppose one of the questions, if you're looking in this kind of area that we get, is do you have to know a lot about aircraft in the first place before even sort of getting ready?
Not necessarily. So as long as you have a broad overview of what aircraft are in the RAF, once you've been posted, you'll obviously learn more about that platform that you are working more closely with. But to your initial question, I'm a airspace operations specialist working at RAF Marham within station plans, and I also assist with the squadron program support as well.
And we also spoke off air as well, you're a cadet too. Now, what does that mean, and what are the rules around that?
So typically for somebody that has got some interest in joining the military, it doesn't necessarily have to be the RAF, it can be any form of the military. You can usually join around the age of 13 or 12 if you're in year 8. And it's a basic introduction. You'll learn basics around air power, and a lot of the things that you will be asked during your interview, you can sometimes pick up through that. So
there isn't a sort of an age limit straight away. You don't have to be 18 before you can embark down this road, or is there?
You can join beforehand. So there are some people that I went through training with that started their application at 16, but there are obviously some welfare considerations that come with that. So if you are going to join before the age of 18, you do really need to be sure that this is something that you want to do.
Absolutely. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's a lot of fun and challenging as well when you can get involved with it, I'm sure. Daniela, coming back to you, we've spoken about it already, a different way of coming in. We talked about the fitness side of things, but what else can you do to prepare, especially coming from your background? You know, is there anything at school or extracurricular outside of that can help better prepare you for life in the RAF?
Once again, the cadets is a great way. It doesn't just introduce you into the roles of the job you're about to take, but it gets you used to the basic military lifestyle, like drill and a lot of other things around that, uniform, the standards of how to address people. Other ways to improve yourself is before I was joining up to do the aptitude test, I bought a book to revise because I'm quite bad dyslexic, so I struggle with that. So I bought a book to go over everything, which helped me open more trades that I would be able to apply for. There's many things you could possibly do. And
you're now working as cabin crew, is that right?
Yeah.
So just sort of kind of highlights the variety actually of what you can go on to do within the RAF, because is that always the path you thought you'd end up doing?
No, not necessarily, but it's a path I chose. I thought before joining the RAF potentially being cabin crew civilian-wise, but then COVID hit and loads of people were getting made redundant that were flying. So being in the RAF, being cabin crew-wise, has been a very good way of doing it.
Amazing. Well, look, don't go anywhere because we're going to chat a bit more. But we've got a video lined up for you now that we can throw to RAF Lossiemouth to give you a little idea. It's one of our bases and what base life might be like for you, what you can get involved with, and you can see it for your eyes yourself.
We're very fortunate here that it's isolated enough so that there's not too many people around, but there's lots to see and do, particularly if you like the outdoors. Beautiful beaches, great for families, and great for youngsters.
I volunteered for this post because it was the job that I was interested in, and I hadn't actually been to Lossiemouth before. But after moving here and living here for a while, I wish I'd honestly moved here sooner, because it's a stunning part of the world to live in. Just down in Lossie itself, in the town, there's two stunning beaches. One's a white sandy beach, the other is sort of a pebble type beach. And yeah, Lossie beachfront itself, plenty of restaurants and bars as well.
The Royal Air Force outside work does offer you quite a lot. You've got hundreds of Eagle schemes that will allow you to go abroad, to go skiing, kayaking,
paragliding or abseiling.
Mountain biking, I've been surfing.
The rugby clubs, football clubs. You've got esports gaming club that's just been set up here at RAF Lossiemouth, and it's getting more funding.
There's plenty of adventure training to do up here, especially hiking and mountain biking. But on top of that, there is also RAF flying clubs that offer subsidised, non-for-profit flying training for anyone that wants to get their pilot's licence.
So where I'm kicking around base, I tend to use the messing facilities to eat instead of cooking in the block. It's a subsidised meal and it's fantastic quality. One of the best messes when the Air Force is up at Lossie.
I cook for myself in the kitchens. They're incredibly spacious. There's a lot of kit provided in there, such as microwaves and stoves. So I just cook for myself, really. Not only that, there's a bar called Barrel and Bean, which also has a Starbucks attached to it. I'm a very, very avid coffee drinker, so I go down there quite frequently.
So personally using the facilities up at RAF Lossiemouth, one of the best ones got to be the quarters, especially the new ones that are getting built right now to more modernise the way we're living and keeping our lifestyle up to date. And just the bar has just been refurbished as well, and it's a fantastic option now just to go with your mates on a Friday night. And when you've got a bit of free time, go to the gym. That is free of charge, and it's got more kit than what I would say you'd find in a lot of civvy streets. And it's always well kept clean and up to date.
Before coming up here, I was sceptical. Oh, it's far away from everything. But being up here, it's generally been the best time that I've had so far.
It's a fantastic base, and just I wouldn't listen to as many negative comments, but I'd make your own decision on it.
If you're an outdoors, adventurous type of person, I can't think of anywhere better really to work from.
Have an open mind. I know it's far up north, but once you're up here, it's very much a community.
Once you get in here and you start to get embedded and meet the people, you start to identify that it's actually a gem of a place to live.
Welcome back to Parents' Evening live from RAF Cranwell, and we're talking all about preparing for the RAF this evening, and a whole showcase of life at the RAF throughout the evening coming your way too. Now, we've got a game behind us, Batak. Now, there is a reason behind this. Emily and Danielle have joined me for this too. Now, we're each going to have a go. You both look very worried. It's going to be fine. Now, this is supposed to be all about the skills you might learn or have to need during the RAF, regardless, I suppose, of where you're going. I suppose aptitude test, coordination, reaction. Is that all sounding fairly familiar?
Yes, it is, definitely.
Well, that's a good thing. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go first and set the benchmark. And I imagine you two have got to be better than me, really. So then you're going to go. Okay? Sound good? Right. You can hold that. We'll have a go. And you can hold my notes. There you go. Right. Okay. Right. Get ready. 30 seconds. I feel like you need to use... Time. 37. Not as good as I got earlier, but that's my benchmark. Now, that felt like you need to use your peripheral vision quite a lot and just general hope for the best.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yep.
Are you ready?
No, but we'll go.
Come on then. Right, Emily, let me just reset that for you. Get ready. Okay, 37, the time to be. Off you go. Oh, interesting stuff. So, reaction testing, coordination. This is what this game is all about. All things you'll need to be a part of the RAF, regardless of where you end up. Nearly there. Just 5 seconds left of this, and I think I'm doing well. I think I'm doing well here. Time at 33. Emily, 33. Right, come on, Daniela. Right, let's reset this. Now, what do you think is needed for this kind of game?
Height.
Height?
Yeah, you're quite tall. You can reach the top ones while semi-crouched down.
But I can't reach the bottoms.
Yeah, you can.
All right, well, you're up. 33. Well, what did I get? 37. Go. So height, clearly, maybe an advantage. Once again, It's a slow and steady start, but I've got faith. Emily, I feel like we might be eliminating you on this one, but actually, oh no, Daniela, you're slowing down a bit. It probably doesn't help that I'm also narrating this. But peripheral vision, quite a key thing clearly in this, as well as just general cognitive reaction timing, useful in all aspects of life, as well as the RAF. 35! Oh no, what did you get? I got 37 and you got 33. So I managed to I beat you and you. Now that's saying something, isn't it? But these kind of games, they do teach us a little bit about, what is the fundamental basics of what's needed to be a part of the RAF, or certainly when looking at joining the RAF.
Yeah, definitely. Quick reaction time, hand-eye coordination is a must.
Have you done this kind of thing before?
No, personally, no.
Is there anything similar like it when you're going through the assessment periods?
Not personally, no. It could be similar things like sort of hand-eye coordination on the aptitude test, but they're more like puzzles, so.
Easier?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, because, who lost between you two? Was it you? You lost. Right, we're going to go again. You're eliminated, so winner takes all, okay? Right, you can hold my notes. Right, here we go again. So I think I got 37 last time. If it'll work. If it'll work. We might be having a little bit of a game technical issue here. If I press 4, maybe. Oh, that worked. No. I don't think we're going to get another game in. Oh, here we go. I improved though, 41 on that time. It's quite exhausting, isn't it? Right, come on, your turn. Let's see if it'll work again. Right, I'll take that, thank you. Okay. Is it going to play ball this time? We love a game on a live stream. It's really fun. Right, come on. It stopped playing ball. Right, if I do that again. That seemed to work last time. 41 to beat, 30 seconds. Got it in the end. Now this is for all-out glory, and beats doing a bleep test for me, anyway. I feel like we've made the job slightly harder. I think it should be on a wall, but we're doing the best we can. Nearly there. Am I going to beat both of you? Oh. Well, I think I beat both of you on that one. So sign me up. I'm ready. It's not quite as easy as that, clearly. But to reiterate the main points, I suppose, of preparing for the RAF, it is all about understanding what you're about to embark on, but also what you've both highlighted is actually how different a path you can take, even if you're joining at the same time, for instance.
Yeah, 100%. It's different for everyone, and everyone's got different reasons for joining. But if you push through it, it's worth it. Yeah,
and Emily, if I chat to you as well, if I come around this way, actually, does that work a little bit better? Again, you were doing all sorts of jobs beforehand. Has any of that stuff helped you? Working in sales and things like that. Has any of it helped you coming into the RAF?
Yes, so in my job particularly, there's a lot of people that I have to speak to on a daily basis from all different walks of life, different ranks. Some people can get quite intimidated by that, but I find it second nature to be able to just speak to anybody and get what I need.
And what are some of the key skills that you found that maybe you didn't start out with, but you've developed through the process?
Communication is a huge thing. Your ability to again get what you need in order to complete a task is huge. But also your teamwork. You can't always complete a task without your teammates, and you need them.
I'm sweating, Daniela. But same question to you.
What was the question?
What was the question? Good call. Some of the skills that perhaps you started out with, but that you've now developed or didn't have before, thanks to being in the RAF, what do you feel like you have personally developed?
Mine would 100% be time management, because being in the Air Force, it's strategic. If you need to go somewhere, you need to have that time management. You can't be late for tasks or operations. You need to be there on time. And same again, to reiterate, 100% communication. You need to be able to communicate to everyone, higher ranks, lower ranks, and be comfortable with the communication between yourself and them.
Absolutely. You've got to be really clear and communicate, as you say. I suppose the one thing that maybe people struggle to understand when they're preparing for the RAF is what a day-to-day looks like. And obviously you both do different roles. Could you give us a day-to-day? Is it a 9 to 5? What are the hours personally?
I've had jobs that have been 9 to 5, but also shift work. So it can depend on where you're posted and what job you're doing at a certain time. But at the moment, it is just a 9 to 5 office job.
And Danielle?
Mine is neither. Being cabin crew, it just depends on the monthly rota. Comes out a month in advance. It lets you know what flights you got planned, what office days, but they can change. So you can be up at 3 in the morning and not land in another country till about 5 in the evening. So it honestly just depends on the task you got.
And cabin crew, I mean, forgive me, this is a basic question, but you're not going on commercial airlines and doing that. You're not sort of being sent via the RAF on a placement almost, or is that kind of how it works? I don't know.
No, we're on the Voyager A330 aircraft, which we own. So it's basically a commercial jet that has been commissioned, and it looks like a military jet and is, but effectively it's got the same passenger seats as a commercial one.
So I imagine you've done a fair bit of travelling then.
Yeah, I've done a good few flights, good few operations as well. It's been nice to travel and a nice experience to go around different countries and different cultures.
Now, I suppose that comes with the job, but Emily, in your case, do you get much chance to experience life outside?
It's very different because I work with the F-35 Lightning. So unless they are going on exercises or on occasional deployments, if they need some extra support, then yes, there is the potential for me to go. But otherwise, I'm stay at home.
Now, has it been, unlike Daniela, who had, your dad was in the RAF, so you had a little bit of an idea, I suppose, of how it was going to be. In your case, as we said, not the case. Has it lived up to expectation? What did you expect when you were first joining?
I didn't know what to expect, and it was quite nice going in with an open mind to basically learn everything. You don't know what to expect, you don't know what's going to happen, so to be able to walk in and just be like, I'll take it as it comes, it's quite nice.
Amazing. Now, all this is about sort of myth busting and trying to make it easily accessible so people know what they're getting into. So is there anything that maybe that is completely wrong, that the RAF has a bit of a reputation for, or it should be a myth that should be completely debunked now? Or anything that you learned that surprised you, even though your dad was in the RAF?
Just that it's very different nowadays to when my dad joined up, because he joined up about 30 years ago. The RAF lifestyle is changed completely. So he was so used to telling me, no, it's like this, no, it's like that. But same again, going in very open-minded, it's very different nowadays to what it used to be. So don't listen to if anyone's got any negative comments about it. Make your own mind up on it.
Has it been nice to have that support there?
Yeah, 100%. He's helped me through everything to, once I'm in the RAF, to help him with my appraisals. Because obviously I'm dyslexic and I struggle with that. I've got the backing from him, but also the backing from the RAF, who managed to do my dyslexia assessment for me.
Amazing. And same to you, Emily, I suppose. Support of a different kind. Are you able to find that support within the RAF?
Yes. So obviously as you age and your career progresses, your lifestyle and your lifestyle needs will change, and they can be very, very supportive of that. Obviously you'll have deployments, and there will be certain circumstances that arise that sometimes you don't want, but 9 times out of 10 it will always play in your favour.
Well, that's encouraging to hear, actually, I think, as well. Now, we're talking all about preparing for the RAF, naturally, and obviously you've clearly have good reaction skills and play a good game of BATAC. 3 things from each of you, and they've got to be different, that you would say you need to be prepared when you join the RAF. Who wants to go first? Who's ready? Oh, Daniela, go on.
I've got one, definitely. Practice your fitness and improve your fitness. If you've got good communication with family or friends while you're at basic training. It does help to have the support there. And I don't know, I'm trying to think on the last one. Come back to me.
I'll come back to you. I'll hold you to that. Emily?
There's a phrase that when speaking to other people that serve, you'll hear throughout training, and that is play the game. And essentially, it's just a case of be open-minded, accept what is going to happen. You can't change it, but keep your head down, keep focused, and you will get there.
That's really nice to hear, and I'm going to hold you to it. Have you got another one?
Yeah, it's a funny one, but my thing for going to basic is bring lots of snacks. Because you're hungry, because you do a lot of fizz. Definitely.
And so was there anything on top of that that you were worried about when you were coming into training and joining the RAF that turned out to be maybe not so much of a worry, or something that you would actually say, you know, that is something you need to take a bit of time over? I know we talked about the fitness, but was there anything personally that worried you?
I'd say separation from your family. If you've never been away from family before, it can be quite a big deal. I don't know how things are at the moment in terms of, I know that the course structure has changed, but when I went through basic training, there was several weekends of leave. But if you don't get that for whatever reason, take your opportunity on a night to speak to your family. Always keep them close, keep them updated on what's going on, because you will find that they are one of the better support networks.
Mm-hmm. Mine would be failure is probably what I worried about, especially with my dad being in the RAF, and I didn't personally want to be a failure, but stuff happened. Failed my fitness test at basic.
What happens then if you fail?
You get to redo it, so it was probably the nerves for me on the first day. Failed it, but then went back, did it again, passed it. But with that, don't be stressed about failure, because the RAF and all the instructors there are there to support you and push you to pass. They don't want to see you fail. They want to see you pass and join the RAF and have a happy career.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat a little bit about what it's like preparing for the RAF. Anything you've heard so far today, you can find out more information on the RAF website and not going to uni as well. There you are. We found you in the end. Thank you so much for sticking with us for this first session. Don't worry, we're going to have a quick break, about 30 minutes or so, and we've got 2 more sessions coming your way, all about what life is like within the RAF and all the different variety of roles you can experience. Join us in about half an hour. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to find out more information, you can head to our website, notgoingtouni.co.uk, and we'll see you at the next RAF Live.